instructions given. You should also understand that you have section A, which is compulsory, and section B. You are given 2 questions, 3 questions. They expected to give only 2 questions. So now section C, you are given 2 questions. Expectation is to answer only 1 question. Okay, right. So now let's check question 1. So now question 1 reads as follows. Various options are provided as possible answers for the following questions. And also the guidelines are actually given on how you must answer this particular type of questions. Okay, right. So now 1.1.1 reads as follows. The leadership style in which subordinates expect and take full responsibility for their actions. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be C. Okay, right. So now the second question, which is 1.1.2, it reads as follows. The main objective of DASH is to create mutual benefit for its members. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be B. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question. So now the next question that we have question 1.1.3. So now 1.1.3 reads as follows. Sidere Enterprise uses fine print to hide misleading information when promoting their products. So this is known as DASH, a type of unethical business practice. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be D, which is unfair advertising. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 1.1.4. The role of health and safety representative is to make sure that they maintain equipment in a regular basis so that it doesn't cause any accident or any injuries at the workplace. Okay, right. So now let's check 1.1.5. Amaju and then team members implement DASH as a criterion for successful team performance by agreeing on methods to get the job done without wasting time on conflict resolution. So now in this regard, the appropriate answer is going to be collaboration. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 1.2. Complete the following statements by using the words provided in the list below. Write only the words next to the question numbers. So now you're given an example that you're supposed to answer from 1.2.1 to 1.2.5. So now 1.2.1 reads as follows. FISO Limited issued their shares to the promoters of the company. This is nothing but founders' shares. This is founders' shares. Okay, right. So now let's check 1.2.2. Ben distributed DASH at the start of the presentation to attract the attention of the audience. So now in this regard, our appropriate answer is going to be hand out. This is going to be hand out. Okay, right. So now let's move on to another question, which is 1.2.3. The shareholders at Blake Ltd have DASH Limited and can only lose the amount that they invested in the limited in the company. So it means that our appropriate answer in this regard is going to be limited, because the moment the company goes insolvent, so then it means that the personal belongings of the business is totally separate from the ones of the owner. Okay, right. So now let's check 1.2.4. A disagreement between 2 or more parties in the workplace is known as DASH. So now this is nothing but conflict. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 1.2.5. Employees at Mawetu Traders are allowed to use their own language during their lunch breaks. So this promotes the DASH right in the workplace. So now this is nothing but social. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 1.3. So 1.3 reads as follows. Choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. Write only the letter A to J next to the question numbers. An example is given inside the brackets, where you are expected to answer from 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in your answer book provided. Okay, right. So now grade 12s, you should always bear in mind that in column A, you are given the concepts or you are given the terms. So in column B, it's either you can be given the definition of the terms, or it can be given the functions of the terms, or it can be given the characteristics of a term, or it can be given the features of a term. Okay, right. So now the first term that we have security, and then the second one we have redeemable preference shares, and then the last one we have accountability as well as expect. Okay, right. So now security. If we check security, the appropriate answer for security is going to be J, can only be bought back when the company closes down. So it means our appropriate answer in this regard is going to be J for 1.3.1. So 1.3.2 redeemable preference shares. So now this can be bought back at the option of the issuing company. So it means the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be E. So now let's check 1.3.1. 1.3.3 nominal group technique. So now this allows employees to silently generate many ideas on their own. So it means just that the appropriate answer is going to be A. So 1.3.4, we have accountability. So now accountability, business should take responsibility for their own actions. So now it means that the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be I. So now let's check. Next one, we have 1.3.5, which is expect. So now this is in line with our managers must know their facts when dealing with this type of personality. So it means our appropriate answer in this regard is going to be B. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is question 2. So now question 2 reads as follows. List any 4 types of investment opportunities. So now that is our question 2.1. So now we have fixed property, we have fixed deposit, we have stokvel, as well as shares. So now you're saying that we have fixed deposit, and then you also have fixed property, and then you also have stokvel, and lastly, we have shares. Okay, right. So now let's check out 2.2, outline the advantages of a state-owned company. So now one of the advantages of state-owned companies is that jobs are created for all skill levels, and also wasteful duplication of services is actually eliminated, and also generate income to finance our social programs. So we're saying that jobs are created for all skill levels, and also we are saying that generate income to finance social programs. And also we are saying that wasteful duplication for services eliminated. Okay, right. So now let's check 2.3. So now 2.3 reads as follows. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So now Akona traders bought stock to the value of 400,000, but only insure it for 200,000. A fire broke out in a warehouse and destroyed stock to the value of 80,000. So name the insurance clause that is applicable to 18, the scenario above. So now the clause that is actually what applicable to this question is average clause. Why? Because goods are insured at a less than value of its market value. So meaning here we have average clause. Average clause. Okay, right. So now let's check 2.3.2. Calculate the amount that AT will receive as compensation from the insurer. Show all the calculations. So now whenever you calculate what average clause, you're going to say average clause is equivalent to amount insured divided by value of insured item, value of insured item, then you multiply by loss. So it means that now we are going to have AC being equivalent to 200,000 divided by 400,000. Now we multiply by 80,000. So our appropriate answer is going to be 40,000. So that is going to be our appropriate answer. And we'll have scored itself 4 marks. Okay. So now let's check 2.4. 2.4 reads as follows. Explain aspects that should be considered when designing a multimedia presentation. So now the aspect is that you must select the background, start with headings, and use a legible font and font size. So we are saying that start with the headings. Also, we are saying that select the background, select the background, okay. We are also saying that use legible font and font size. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question. The next question is 2.5. So now 2.5 reads as follows. Exclusive architects operate in a competitive environment and have to improve the designs of their house plans. So now the management of EA provide emotional support for employees through coaching so that they can actually share their ideas more freely. So now the question says, identify the leadership theory and used by EA. Modified your answer by quoting from the scenario. So now in this regard, if you check, we have sentence 1 and sentence 2. Okay, right. So now if you check, it says the management of EA provide emotional support for employees through coaching so that they can share their ideas more freely. So this is going to be transformational theory. Transformational theory. So now when you quote sentence 2. You write it full. You write sentence 2 full. So that's how you answer this particular type of a question. So now let's move on to 2.5.2. Explain one other leadership theory. So now one other leadership theory that we can explain in this regard is leaders and followers. So now leaders lead by example and reward positive behavior. So we are seeing we have leaders and followers. So we are saying that leaders lead by example and reward positive behavior. Positive behavior. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 2.6. So now if you check 2.6, our 2.6 reads as follow, and then it says discuss the impact of the autocratic leadership style on businesses. Remember, the autocratic leadership style is that style where a leader doesn't listen to the subordinates whenever he takes decision. So now work gets done in time. So clear guidance can be given to low-skilled staff. So demotivate workers, impact what negatively on productivity. Motivated workers impact negatively on productivity. Okay, right. So now you're saying work gets done in time. Then also you're saying that clear guidance can be given to low-skilled staff members. And also, we're saying that the motivated workers impact negatively on productivity. Okay, right. So now let's check 2.7. It says I recommend ways in which presenters can handle feedback in a non-aggressive and professional manner. So now keep answers short and to the point. Be polite when responding to questions and also always address a question, not a person. Saying that keep answers short and to the point. Another one, be polite. Be polite when responding to questions. And responding to questions. Then the last but not the least, always address the question, not a person. Okay, right. So now, great talks. So now, in this regard, I would love us to move on to the next question, which is question 3. So now, question 3 is in line with business roles. Okay, right. Great talks. So now, question 3 reads as for in particular 3.1. Name any two corporate social investment focus areas. So now, the focus area or areas, we have community, we have rural development, we have employee and environment. You're saying that we have community, we have employee, we have environment, and lastly, we have rural development. Rural development. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.2. So now 3.2 reads as follows. Outline the responsibilities of workers in promoting human health and safety in the workplace. So now it is their responsibility to use equipment safely as prescribed, and also wear protective clothing at all times, as well as being in the position in the same manner to make sure that they report all incidents causing death, injury, or illness at the workplace. Okay, right. So now we're saying that report all incidents causing death, injuries, or illness. So now we are also saying that wear protective clothing at all times. Also, said that they must use equipment, safely, as prescribed. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.3. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So now we are actually given that Tornado Furniture specializes in the manufacturing of launch suits. So they monitor their employees on an hourly basis to make sure that tasks are completed on time. So now the management allows only certain employees access to the business funds. So now TF also strengthens the team spirit among the employees so that they feel responsible for their needs to be achieved. So now quote ways in which TF is dealing with the abuse of work time as type of professional business practices from the scenario above. So from this scenario, we see that we have sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, and sentence 4. Okay, right. So now in this regard, we are going to quote sentence 2 and sentence 4. So your rightful sentence as it is, or as it appears. You have what? They monitor their employees on an hourly basis to ensure that tasks are completed on time. So now this is the sentence that you should write. And also another sentence is this one, the last one, where it says TF also strengthens the team spirit among the employees so that they feel responsible for what needs to be achieved. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.2. Explain other ways in which TF can deal with abuse of work time as a type of unprofessional business practice in the workplace. So now speak directly to those employees who abuse work time, and also conduct training on the contents of the code of ethics. Okay, right? We are saying that speak directly, to those employees, who abuse work time, Okay, right? And again, we are saying that conduct training on the contents of the code of conduct. Conducts training. That's training on the contents of the code of ethics. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.4. So now 3.4 reads as follow. It reads as follow. Recommend ways in which businesses can create an environment that promotes creative thinking at the workplace. Okay, right. So now for businesses to create an environment that is conducive for creative thinking, it should encourage alternative ways of doing things, encourage staff to come up with new ideas, also respond enthusiastically to all ideas, and never let anyone feel less important. You're saying that, so make sure that they encourage alternatives, ways of doing business, and also you're saying that encourage staff to come up with new ideas, and also respond enthusiastically to all ideas and never let anyone feel less important. Okay, right. So now let's check 3.5. So now 3.5 reads as follow. Metal designers. So now metal designers gave Pamela the responsibility to manage a team of experienced and highly competent members. So now team members are able to handle the decision-making process without Pamela supervising them. So now they are also aware of the importance of team dynamic theories in improving team performance. Okay, right. So now this is our sentence one, this is our sentence two, and this is our sentence three. Name the stage of team development applicable in the scenario above. This is performance stage, performing stage. So now discuss 3.5.2, discuss the importance of team dynamic theories in improving team performance. So now the importance of team dynamic theory is that team dynamic theory explain how effective teams work. So conflict may be minimized when team members perform different roles. Also, businesses are able to allocate tasks according to the roles of team members. So now we are saying that team dynamics, theories, team dynamic theories explain how effective teams work. Okay, right. So now we are also saying that businesses are able businesses are able to allocate tasks according to the roles of team members or team members. Okay, right? So now let's check the last one. Last one, we are saying that conflict may be minimized when team members perform different roles. Perform different roles. Okay, right, great talk. So now let's move on to 3.6. So 3.6 reads as follows. Explain how businesses should handle conflict in the workplace. So they must create a healthy competition amongst workers so that they can focus on team targets. And also they must put rules or procedures that may result in good team spirit, as well as giving the provision of proper communications between managers and workers. Okay, right? Saying that provision of proper communication between management and workers. And also, we are saying that they must put rules or procedures that may result in good team spirit, in good team spirit. Okay, right. Again, we are saying that they must create a healthy competition among workers so that they can focus on team targets, among workers so that they can focus on team targets. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.7. So now 3.7 says suggest ways in which businesses could actually deal with gender is a diversity issue in the workplace. So now women should be employed to comply with Employment Equity Act as well. Also, targets may be set for gender equity in the business. Also, new appointments should be based on skills and ability. Okay, right. Saying that women should be employed be employed to comply with Employment Equity Act. And also we are saying that targets may be set, for gender equity in the business. Okay, right? And then you also say that new appointments should be based on skills and ability. Okay, right, grade 12s. Then in this juncture, we are done with our question 3. Let's move on to question 4. So now in question 4, remember question 4 is a miscellaneous question. And question 4 is a miscellaneous question. And remember, miscellaneous questions engulfs all the topics that you dealt with in paper 2. Okay, right. So now 4.1 reads as follows. Name any 2 types of compulsory insurance. So now these 2 types of compulsory insurance, we have unemployment insurance fund, which is UIF, and also you have road accident fund, which is RAF. So now you're saying that this is an employment insurance fund, unemployment insurance fund. And you also have road accident fund, which is a RAF. Okay, right. So now let's check 4.2. So now 4.2 reads as follows. Outline the advantages of insurance for businesses. So now one of the advantages of insurance is that it protects businesses against dishonest employees. Also, it protects businesses against losses due to death of a debtor. Also, transfers the risk from the business to the insurance company. Okay, right. So now we are saying that transfers risks from the business to the insurance company. Okay, right. So now we are also saying that protects businesses against dishonest employees. Dishonest employees. And also we are saying that protects businesses against losses due to a death of a debtor. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 4.3. So now 4.3 reads as follows. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Ilanje Limited. The management of Ilanje Limited presented their future plans for expansion to the shareholders. So they used PowerPoint, smart pens, and the flip charts to make their presentation interesting. So management also considered comments from the shareholders in order to improve their next presentation. So now 4.3.1 reads as follows. Name 2 visual aids caused by EL in the scenario above. So now the visual aids that are given in this regard, we have the PowerPoint and the flip chart. We have PowerPoint and flip charts. Okay, right. So now let's check our 4.3.2. Suggest the areas of improvement that the management should consider for their next presentation. So for the next presentation, they must use humor appropriately. Humor should be used appropriately and also revise objectives that were not achieved. Use humor appropriately. And also you say that revise objectives. Revise objectives that were not achieved. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 4.4. Explain how capital as a criterion can actually contribute to the success and a failure of a company. Okay, right. So now let's check for success. Let's check for success. So now we are going to check for success and then as well as failure. So now for success, we are saying that a large amount of capital can be raised since there is no limit on the number of shareholders. That will be the success of a private company. But when it comes to the failure of it, restrictions on transferability of shares may not attract financially strong investors. Okay, right. So we are saying that on the issue of success, large amount of capital, can be raised since there is no limit, on the number of shareholders. And then on the failure side, we are saying that restrictions on transferability of shares may not attract financially strong investors. Okay, right. So now let's check our 4.5. 4.5 reads as follows. State any 4 problem solving steps. Okay, right. So now these problem solving steps, they are as follow. Number 1, identify a problem. Define a problem, formulate strategy, as well as evaluate a strategy. Saying that, identify a problem, then define a problem, and also we are saying that formulate strategy, and evaluate this strategy that we have formulated. Evaluate strategy that we have actually formulated. Okay, right. So now let's check our 4.6. So now 4.6 reads as follows. Explain ways in which businesses can contribute time and effort so as to improve the well-being of employees. So now in this regard, it means that ethics should contain clear rules about their roles and also structure working hours in such a way that employees have a free time for personal matters. Also create a culture of team spirit in order for all employees to feel welcome. Okay, right? Saying that ethics should contain clear rules, about workers' roles. Ethics should contain clear rules about workers' roles. Okay, right? And we are also saying that structure working hours in such a way that employees have free time for personal use. And we are also saying that create a culture of team spirit in order for all employees to feel welcome. Okay, right. So now let's check our 4.7 create tools. So now 4.7 reads as follows. Barrows traders. Barrows traders sell bicycles to different outlets. They treat all employees with respect, regardless of their socioeconomic status. So the management of BT encourages open communication channels between them and the employees. So now we have sentence 1. We have sentence 2, and then we have sentence 3. Identify 2 human rights that are promoted by BT and modify your answer by quoting from the scenario. Okay, right. So now we have S2 and S3. So now meaning this one, we are going to check sentence 2. So now when you check sentence 2, it is in line with dignity. So remember, you don't write sentence 2 grade 12s, you write the whole sentence. They treat all employees with respect regardless of their socioeconomic status. So now we also have sentence 3, which addresses the issue of freedom of speech and expression. Freedom of speech and expression. So now it's for sentence 3, where it says the management of BT encourages open communication channels between them and the employees. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 4.8. So now 4.8 reads as follows. Recommend ways in which professional, responsible, ethical, and effective business practices should be conducted by businesses. Okay, so now businesses must plan properly and put preventative measures in place. Also, mission statement should include values of equality. We are saying that businesses should plan properly and put preventative measures in place. Okay, right. Also, we said that mission statement should include values of equality. Okay, right, grade 12. So now in this Janja, then we have actually done with our section B. So now let's move on to our section C. So now section C, let's check question 5. It is in line with business ventures. So now this business ventures that we are actually referring to, then it's in line with the securities under investment. Okay, right. So now grade 12, as I always tell you, the moment you are given this kind of question, this is easy question. These bullets, they form part of your body, and these bullets should always be written as subheadings and should be underlined. So now under each and every subheading, you should be having what? The minimum of 2 points or the minimum of 4 points. So this is our introduction of 2 marks. Then we also have our conclusion of 2 marks. Okay, right. So now we are going to discuss these issues or these points. Okay, right. So now let's check our introduction. Under introduction, we are going to say that Johannesburg Security Exchange is a formal market trading in shares. So it's comprising of all public companies that have been listed. You can also say that investors should make an informed decision when investing in this particular type of shares. That is our introduction, and it's 2 marks. So now let's check the functions of the Johannesburg Security Exchange. So one of the functions is that it gives opportunities to financial institutions to invest their surplus funds in shares. Also serves as a barometer or indicator of economic conditions in South Africa. It also keeps investors informed by publishing share prices daily. It also acts as a link between investors and public companies. Also, shares are valued and assessed by experts. So some small investors are invited to take part in the economy of the country through the buying or selling of shares. So venture capital market is made possible on the open market. It also raises primary capital by encouraging new investment in listed companies. Also regulates the market for trading in shares. Also plans, research, and advises on investment possibilities. Also ensures that the market operates in a transparent manner. Also provides protection for investors through straightforward rules, and also enhance job creation and increases economic growth and development. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the vectors that should be considered when making investment decisions. So whenever you're making investment decisions, you must know that you should check the return on investment. How much are you going to get on top of what you have actually invested? You should also check the inflation rate. Remember, the inflation, when you talk of the inflation, we refer to a continuous or persistent increase in the general price levels of goods and services. So now, whenever you try to do your investment, you should also make sure that you check the status of the inflation rate. Remember, the moment we have rate as a synonym, that is the indication that you should check the inflation figure in a percentage manner. Okay, right. So now also you must check the personal budget before you can engage into the investing or multiplication of your monies. You should always make sure that how much do you have in your pocket so that you don't leave yourself with nothing, or you end up investing each and every amount that you have in your own pocket, and you find that in a later stage you remain with nothing. You end up suffering. Also, you must check the investment period. You must check what the length of the investment. After how long in terms of time are you going to get your return on that particular investment? You can't just put your money or try to multiply your money without checking the time period when you are going to get your money. Okay, right. So now let's check the impact of a unit trust as a form of investment. So now this unit trust, it is easy to cash in when an investor needs money. The moment you invest with a unit trust and then you are in need of your money, then it is very easy to access that particular type of money. Okay, right. Also, a small amount can be invested per month, meaning each and every month you can invest a small amount or small sum of money. Also, generally beats inflation on medium or long term. So now this is one of the types of investments that we can actually say that it beats investment. It means that it keeps or it goes at the same rate with investment. Okay, right. So now let's check the last one, where we're supposed to advise businesses on the differences between simple interest and compound interest. So now on compound interest and simple interest, we are going to check what transpires under simple interest. Under simple interest, interest is earned on original amount invested, meaning you earn interest on the principal amount that you have initially invested. But when it comes to compound interest, here the principal amount grows with the additional interest on it. So it means that now you calculate the interest on the what, on the principal amount for the first year. Then the second year you are going to calculate the interest on what, on the principal amount plus the interest that has actually been earned for the first year. Okay, right. So now let's check how best we can conclude our essay. So now in conclusion of this essay, it means that we are going to check that Johannesburg Security Exchange ensures all listed companies operate within certain rules and regulations. Also, you can see a clear understanding of different types of shares will help the investors to make the right choice or decisions. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next question, which is question 6. Okay, right. So now question 6 reads as follow: business roles. So now we are going to check social responsibility and social responsibility, as well as social corporate responsibility and investment. Okay, right. So now, Kratos, remember you should always have your introduction of 2 marks and also your conclusion of 2 marks. And also bear in mind that these bullets, they form part of your body. And on your body part, you are expected to write the subheading of each and every bullet and make sure that you underline it. So now from there, it is going to be very easy for you to monitor your answers. So under each and every subheading, you must write the minimum points of 4. Okay, right. So now let's check how best we can actually write what the introduction. We can actually say that the corporate social responsibility is an obligation required by law and benefit both businesses and the society. Also, you can say that it is important for businesses to examine the link that exists between social responsibility and triple bottom line. Okay, right. So now let's go and check let's go and check the impact of corporate social responsibilities on communities. So now community skills can be improved through the provision of bursaries. Also, better educational facilities are established in poor communities. Also, the standard of living of the community is uplifted. Also, investing in the medical infrastructure will improve the health of the communities. Also, socioeconomic issues are attended to or addressed, which will improve the welfare of the community. Also, training opportunities in the community increase the possibility of appointments of members of the community. Also, implementing developmental programs in the community improves and brings our skills of our communities. Also, businesses are not always equipped to address social problems. Also, communities tend to be dependent on corporate social responsibility programs and struggle to take their own initiatives. Also, communities may not sustain infrastructure provided through corporate social responsibility project due to lack of financial resources. Also, some businesses only participate in corporate social responsibility initiatives to raise profit and do not really care for the community in which they operate in. Also, the benefits of the program may not filter to the intended person within the community. Also, spending money on corporate social responsibility programs means the business has to recover expenses through higher prices, which have a negative impact on the economy. Also, businesses tend to focus on corporate social responsibility projects that do not directly benefit the community. Also, consumers are not easily convinced that the business is acting in the what best interest of the community or environment. Okay, right. So now let's check also how these businesses can actually deal with the issue of the triple bottom line. So meaning we are going to check or explain the relationship between social responsibility and bottom triple line or triple bottom line. Okay, right. So now the businesses should not only focus on profit, but should also invest in corporate social investment projects. We are also saying that businesses should not make a profit at the expense of its community. Also, we are saying that under the issue of social or people, so now businesses operations should not have a negative impact on the community. Businesses should engage in sustainable community uplifting programs. Also, businesses should improve the quality of life or employees. So now let's check under the issue of environment. So now businesses should not harm the environment for profit purposes. They may support eco-friendly production methods or recycle and reuse waste. E.g., we are supposed to engage into packaging from recycled resources or material. So now suggest ways in which businesses can deal with unemployment as a socio-economic issue. So now when it comes to the unemployment, so now businesses should make sure that they come up with the projects that benefit each and every unemployed individual in the communities in which they operate from. But if it doesn't include each and every individual in the business what operates from, they should include certain people. Okay, right. And also, they should make sure that they come up with some training or educational programs where they are going to offer out entrepreneurial skills so that those people who are unemployed can start their own businesses. Okay, right. So now let's check how best we can conclude our essay. Okay, so now we are saying that CSR aim is to maximize share value among the business, employees, or customers. Also, you are saying that businesses may increase their efficiency through ensuring the relationship between social responsibility programs and triple bottom line. Okay, so now grade 12 at this stage, we have completed all the questions from question 1 up until question 6. Surely, guys, you have enjoyed this lesson. Thank you very much. Shalom.